Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, Coding at Home. My name is Matthew Lonsdale and this is part 1, the inventory system, episode 2. So we're going to write all the script and the drag and drop system and the add and the removal of all the inventory items. Okay, so let's get straight into it and continue on. So I'll bring up my other project. If you haven't seen the first episode, go watch it, how to get set up, and you will then have, this is the finished project. Sorry, the collision isn't set up quite correctly, but we've got the inventory system, the items coming in the top right corner, drag and drop system, backwards and forwards, shift to split, alt to just jump straight over, alt again, it'll auto stack. You can also move, you can also split inside of here and drag out one, and so on like that. Let's say go and watch the first episode. It's how to set up, how we build all the widgets and everything like that. Okay, so this is where we are up to for everyone who was following on. We have set up our content browser, and I'll just check my face is not in the way. No, it is not. And bring the template back up for me. We've built all our storage, or all our widgets, and we are ready to write some code. So, blueprints. You will need the items to pick up. So, the way I do it is a blueprint class, actor, BP, and this is the master. We don't have to say master, this is just, you can have pickup item, but this is master pickup. And because we've writ our enum, we can go straight into here and we will use the, well, we'll need a static mesh. Okay, you don't need to set that because we're going to do it all in the construction script, so you can dynamically place the items on the floor. For now, in game, however you want to do it, it's dynamically spawn, have spawn locations, it's up to you. But for now, what we'll do is I'll open up my template for the master pickup. So we need the enum underscore pickup, enum, it should be in here, pickup, and you want to expose that. Okay, now if you drag this in, you want to go with a switch, and at the minute we only have the 3 items. You can have as many items as you want here. So you will set the static mesh, set static mesh, Apple. Now we don't have these actually, so what we'll do in the asset marketplace, I think I went with browse. If you go to props and just go to free, number 3, the food pack, which is a free asset. We'll add this, add to project, and we are on the YouTube tutorial at this project. Give that a second to load in. Are all the meshes, and we had the apple and the watermelon and so on like that. So what I would like to do now is you take the asset pack, move it into your assets folder, keep that all nice and tidy. Organization will make your life so much easier if you have yourself set up properly, especially when you're making a slightly big game. Okay, so we're all moved over. You now can delete that folder. I don't know why it stays there. Delete, please. There's nothing in here, but for some reason it does not delete always. If you want rid of it, you'll have to do it in the materials is not going away. That's fine. You can delete that out of your File Explorer and Windows to get rid of that empty file. Okay, so in Blueprints, we want this one. So the static mesh, we should now have an apple. Okay, so the return value, you could branch here. It's not going to fail though. You will also want to set the inventory structure. So this is the mesh, and now you want to create a variable, item info will be fine, and this is of type item structure. You do not need to expose this because you are doing this in this script. So you are setting this way around, and you want to make the structure, and this is where you're going to put in all the details for that apple. So you will go apple, the icon for that apple, doesn't matter what it is, we'll use this one. If you want to do that icon with the snappy image, or get your own, or make your own on Photoshop, whatever, do whatever you like. We're just going to use this for now. The amount, just put as 1. It is edible, it will rot. The max stack size we'll put is 25. Does it stack? Yes. Empty slot? No. Description, blah de blah, 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 blah de blah. And health to 100%. Enum type apple. Okay, so now we can just copy, paste, and this is how you would do all your items. Drag in, use the water melon, and here water, sorry, melon. You can maybe make it a little bit heavier. And description, yeah, max stack size. Let's say we can only carry 5. And again, copy and paste. This will be the med kit, and we will say it is not stackable. Put the 1 though, because you'll need to for the tooltip. Okay, and health obviously 100, and you could say, does it rot? No. Remember, change your enums. Did I do that here? No, I did not. Melon, and drag off like so. Okay, now then, when you drag in, you can set in details, your apple, watermelon, medkit, apple. Okay, we have not got a different static mesh for here. I think we use the donut, sourdough nut, or whatever. So we've got apple, oops, medkit, which is now a loaf of bread, right? Well, it is what it is, doesn't matter. Like you say, it's a template. So is there anything else to do in here? Event graph, I don't think there is. Other than yes, on begin play, static mesh. What we'll do, we'll delay, because the collision isn't great. And just delay for a second, and then set simulate physics to true. Connect that up. compile, save. We'll drag these up into the air. Was the landscape at 100? Yeah, that's fine. So we'll drag a couple of these out, and then I'm alt dragging like that. That's how you copy and paste. We'll have a couple of apples. Put them pretty close to each other because I was sick of running around picking them up. Okay, and then over here we'll have some watermelons. Like that, and you can quickly dynamically, you know, sort that. So if we hit play, they're all there. The apples have still fallen through the world. It might be because I'm recording and rendering a video at the same time and my computer's having a meltdown, so it just isn't reacting quick enough. But yeah, as you can see, they're okay now. So we will build the storage next. What we will do, not next, later, we'll build the inventory first. So in the player controller, let's see what we want. So on begin play, we want to, well, get rid of the tick. We want to create widget HUD, and the owning player is self, and we'll promote that to a variable called HUD. And then I have done the stats. I've added the HUD to the widget, to the viewport. Add to viewport, and I've activated the components. So we need to add the inventory component like that. And now, where is all the parts for it? Did we not do that bit yet? No, so let's get the variables done for the inventory component. So first one is limit slots. Next one is weight, if you're using it. The amount of slots, that is an integer. And I would expose that one. I would also expose all three of these, to be honest. And then we want a array of slots, which is the item structures, and you need to make that one an array. We have got an inventory reference, which I don't think you need actually. Owning player controller, which I don't think you need actually. We've got show tool tips, and that's a boolean, and it's not an array. And expose that one. And now we've got widget HUD. I don't think you need that one either. Let me see. I don't think we are using it. Well, you are creating it, so we'll see. We'll see if we ended up needing it. And one more, open inventory, or is inventory open? And now we will go with event begin play. Our first function is inventory setup. And first we check to see if we have a limited number of slots. So if that is false, just return. If it is true, get the amount of slots, decrement that because of the way the for loop works. This is just minusing 1 from the current amount. That's all that does, okay? Now you don't want a for each loop, you want a for loop and not with a break. And now this number is the last index. The reason we've got to decrement 1 is because the amount in our head starts from 1, but the index arrays start from 0. See, that's like an extra number. So if you want 50, if you didn't do that, you'd end up with 51. Okay. Now on complete, return. You do not want to stick a return, just a tip here for you. Make sure, if something's not happening properly, that you haven't stuck your return on the end of a loop body, because that can cause people problems and they can't figure out why. It's because that is being put on the end, because it'll only do the first loop and then it'll exit the function. Okay, so now in this loop body, we want to get the array slots and we want to add a empty slot. So if we make a structure and just take empty slot, okay, because we're just going to make some empty slots, and that is it. Okay, so that's the script for the inventory setup. So now the way I have done this is I have not used begin play. I probably could have, but we'll just do a custom event, call this init, and we will call our first function, and we will then create a widget, and the widget is the inventory, and the only player, just get player controller, which is index 0. Even if you're doing things multiplayer, you can still use them. Alright, unless it's split screen, then you can't just do that. And I have promoted that to a variable, so we will do it now. So this is the inventory reference. Compile and save, and it is not exposed. Okay, so now if we go back to the PC player, or the player controller, which is not, oh there it is. So under our event begin play, we have, well, just click on your inventory component and then on activation, cast to it, and then call that event. Yes, we don't need to do them, and we don't need to do them. I am setting 2 other variables, but I don't believe I need to do that. And at the end of this one, which is the event begin play, you want to drag off the inventory component and set active to true, or call activate, I think is what I've done. activate. So it will run this first, then it will activate it. So, player controller, what else do you need? So you need a couple of input actions. So under here, we will do the Alt down and all we want to do here is add a variable, and this is Alt down. Just set that to true on pressed and false on released, like so. Okay, do the same for control down, or is it shift down? Just duplicate that variable and call that shift down. Drag in like so. Click tick for when pressed, so it sets it to true. And our next one, which is open inventory, sorry, we have missed that. So let's come back to our project settings and input, and this is open inventory, and for here I have got I, and you can plus another one and you can put tab if some people like that, and hit a save all, and we were in the PC player. So now we can call open inventory. Now on pressed, we want the inventory component, and we want a open and close inventory event. So let's go into our inventory component and create a function called open and close inventory. So let's check that out. So first thing we want to ask, is it open or is it closed? Now let's do true first. So yes, there's the reason for the inventory reference. Fair enough. So if it is true, we want to remove it from parent. Now I like to do this. Double click here, click that, hit Q. Okay. If it was true, we are now setting it to false, and we are also, we want the player controller. This is why I didn't need them other variables, because you can just get player controller, and you want to set show mouse cursor, and you can just drag off of there if you want, because if this is false, this will be false. Tuck that in. Okay, and then we are do a reroute node to about there, and then set game mode to game mode only, and then if we are false, we want to add to viewport, and then we want to set this to true. Oops, wrong button. Set this to true because we are now open, and you want to drag over here and show the mouse cursor, not get it, fucking hell. Show or set show mouse cursor to true, and we will do this like that, and then we can drag off of here. Sorry, I've missed two. Yep, we'll do them now. So we need a generate slots and an update all slots. So let's pop this other function in now. So this is to generate the slots. Okay, just jump back to here. We'll stick it in. Oh, I've done that again. We'll populate that in a second. And the next function is update all slots. Come back to here and update all the slots. And then we want to get the player controller and set game mode to game mode and UI, or set input mode to game mode and UI. Okay, so you've got functionality of the mouse and the keyboard, because if you set it to UI only and you try to tab out or press I, your keyboard won't work. Alright, and the inventory reference is the widget and focus. So let's generate the slots. So firstly, we want our inventory reference, and we can get the slots from that, and then we want to clear the children that are in there. You always want to do this because it will just keep adding them. And then we want to get the array and do it for each loop, and we basically just want to create widget, oh my god, create widget of the slot, which is the inventory slot. Doesn't need an own player. What it does need is the slot information, which these will all be empty slots at first. That's if you've chosen to have slots, empty slots, limited slots, or whatever. And then what you want to do with these is add them to something. Yes, of course. So you'll get the inventory widget. You will get the slots. And you want to add child to wrap box. And this is now the child, okay? So connect all up. Move them there, wherever you want. And yes, then you want to return off of the complete. Do not put the return on the end there. You'll only get one slot. Okay, compile, save. Now let's jump into the update all the slots. So it's an array for each loop. Now for every slot we want to update. So we want to get the slots. There it is. Now you can, so this is the array of slots of widgets. Okay, this is the actual info. This is the widget. So you can now get child at this index, and then you can cast to slot, which is the inventory slot. Now this can be a pure cast, and then you can tell this to update item info, which we did in the last episode. Okay, and that can look like that. You can put a reroute node there, drag them down, make that look extra special, hit Q, straighten everything up, and then return from here. Here, compile, save. Now we should have something on the screen. If I hit I, tab, nothing yet. Let's keep going. So we are in the player controller, PC player controller. Right, so now we can open and close inventory. And let's see my player controller on here. And we want to check to close of our inventories. Yes, we're not at that stage, so okay, press I. We've now got something coming up. Press tab. We have not got slots coming up though, so let's see what function we need for that. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so if you go to your PC player inventory component and set the statistics that you want to use. So limited slots, yes. Weight we'll leave off. And the amount of slots we want is 30. And we haven't got short tooltips yet. But we'll compile and save. Hit play. And there's all our slots starting to populate. What we'll do is we'll put some padding on there, and I think we will call that an episode. Yep. So let's hit up our widget and the inventory widget. Now if you come down to here, you can add some inner child padding. Hit 10. And what you can do is if you go to user created and look for your inventory slot, you can put some in and then duplicate that a load of times so you can visually see what that's looking like. Okay, and then you can mess around with your settings, how you want it to look, so you could center it, and then you can set auto wrap at 600, 700, give you another one, squeeze 8 in there, something like that. Compile, and that's 14 slots, 7s and 7s, something like that. Okay, so I think we'll call it there, and I'll see you in episode 3. Cheers.